To better understand what the non-aligned movement is and what impact its resolutions may have on world affairs, we earlier spoke to Henry Mayega, Consul General at the Uganda Consulate General in Dubai in the UAE, and he spoke to us from Kampala. Take a listen.
There were a couple of other things where these benefits can be counted in terms of the political standing of the country, in terms of economics, and in terms of the exchanges that are supposed to be, realized over time. But at the level of the international scene, the benefits are quite many. One of them being the Israel conflict that is going to give birth to a declaration on Palestine, and that position is extremely important given the fact that there are so many countries in attendance. Now, on top of that, of course, there are quite a number of other things which have been discussed, including climate change. That too is going to be, a position is going to come out in the Kampala Declaration. NAM is a very important international organization because when you look at, for instance, the original objectives of NAM, they speak volumes about the relevance of NAM in the past, present, and also in the future, because the very reasons as to why NAM was formed after the Second World War are still existent, because basically these were things to do with the decolonization of the world, most especially Africa and Asia. Of course, decolonization also goes together hand in hand with imperialism, which both are still rearing their ugly heads, and therefore NAM is still relevant because it has to combat that as well. The issue of sovereignty is another one. That these are sovereign states, the member states of NAM, and therefore that has to be guarded as much as possible because of recent, the world powers have tended to interfere in the affairs of the member states of NAM. And therefore that is another objective which is still valid, and therefore it validates the existence of NAM. Extremely important that NAM addresses that as well. The voice of NAM, as I've said before, is extremely important. We are talking about 121 nation states which are member states of NAM. We are also talking about 20 states which are observers, and also 10 observer organizations. And so the presence of all these entities, and of course their attendance at the meeting of NAM in Kampala is extremely important for the world. And this voice, in my view, is extremely strong and very important because it still impacts on what is going to be discussed in September, for instance, at the UN General Assembly. International diplomacy requires that people sit together and negotiate. And there has to be consensus, and that can only be achieved through, should I say, position of give and take. And therefore, and as far as NAM is concerned, it is extremely important for the countries that are attending NAM to come to the negotiating table, as they've done actually in Kampala, and come to terms with the global problems that we have at the moment, and also try to reach amicable position.